Hi, I'm Kat. I create, teach, and write chainmail tutorials. I'm with Fire Mountain Gems to teach you how to make my lock and twist bracelet. This is a project from my book, New Connections in Chainmail Jewelry, and it focuses on thicker rubber rings and thicker aluminum rings to bring together a bangle style bracelet which does stretches enough that you can go ahead and fit it right on your wrist, no clasp needed. This is also a great project for those who are advanced beginners to intermediate in chainmail, where you have some dexterity with your hands and you can go ahead and force those rubber rings into position and get those thicker aluminum rings closed. You'll like this one. To get started with this project, we're going to want to make a number of units that are then going to be added to the jump rings. We want to go ahead and put the white rubber ring just slightly inside of the green. And we want to just sit them down and do a whole bunch of those. What's going to happen is the white rings will be folded over a jump ring, and then we're going to twist on to the rest of the jump ring the green portion. And you'll see how that comes together shortly. So we just make a bunch of these and just gently set them in there. Kind of center it the best as you can, but they'll move a little bit as you grab it and fold it. So we've got a bunch of these. Once you have your units made, you can now start to add them to the jump rings. And we want to go ahead and take one of those open aluminum rings. And what we're doing is slightly folding the white over the green, and then we put the jump ring through the two loops of the white rubber ring. So once we've got it through there, we just kind of pull on it and move it down so that we can do it one more time. So what I did was I slightly folded the white and I went through the two loops of the white with the aluminum jump ring. So I have kind of what looks like bunny ears or Mickey Mouse ears or a fennec fox ears in my estimation, and that's what you want. And before you're done, you can't close it yet. Now we do a twist with the green, a twist, and then we'll put it onto the jump ring. So what I'm doing is I'm twisting this away from me. I'm twisting it in a figure 8 position away from me, and that second loop that I'm creating with the figure 8, I'm going to pull that loop onto the jump ring. So I've pulled the loop onto the jump ring, and then I need to switch hands because I want to do the same thing over here. Quickly switch hands so that the rubber doesn't slide all the way back up the jump ring. Grab it, hold it steady. This one wants to slide as well. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to twist away, and that new loop that's created from the figure 8, we're going to go ahead and pull that up and slide it onto the jump ring. Once we've got it on there, very quickly and carefully we want to re-grab so that the rubber doesn't slide all the way back up as it's starting to do, and then we can go ahead and close the jump ring. So what we have is a funny looking thing so far. Don't worry about what it looks like right now. We're going to shape it once we add in another aluminum ring, and that will fill the space in between the loops and make a flatter unit that will then connect to other units. So take a second aluminum ring, go ahead and basically double what you've already done. So you're going to go through and follow through every single loop that you've already gone through with the first aluminum ring. So you have to kind of dig it in there and make sure that you stay parallel to the ring you just had in there. And if all the rubbers, kind of moving around on you or in the way, just kind of turn it away and twist it so that you can see where to go. Keep pushing through and around. Bring it all the way around, and as you come up, you can now close the ring because you have enough room while you're smushing down on it with the pliers. You just basically need to smush it down so that you have room to close the ring. And now you've filled in the space of those loops so that you have a firmer, tighter unit. And all I do here is kind of pull on the unit. What I want is the white to be flat in the same plane as the aluminum, and you'll see the green has like a twist to it. And when I look at these units, they have two sides, and I'm going to match up all the same side along the bracelet so that if you wanted to fully reverse it, you could turn it inside out and it would look just slightly different because each side of the unit is different. So we have two sides here. One of them has more of an owl eye type look where you have the little eyes and the little eyebrows that kind of slant downward. That's kind of how I think of it, as like an owl eye. And then more of like a straight brow. The green is more straight across. That's something you want to keep in mind as you're creating all the units, and then when we join them together, you're going to probably want to join them where all the owl eyes are in the same direction and all the straight brows are in the other direction, or on the other side of the weave. So we need to repeat this process a bunch of times. So depending on your hand size, this is where this one gets a little bit tricky. If you have a bigger hand but a smaller wrist, you're still going to want to make this bracelet a little bit bigger because it's got to stretch over your hand. And just be aware of that. Again, if you have a bigger wrist, maybe a slightly smaller hand, you'll have to kind of play with the sizing to make sure you have enough units to complete it. You cannot overstretch this too far. You don't want to open up the jump rings, but yeah, I'm stretching it almost a full inch. And that should usually be enough to fit over most people's hands and still have a snug fit on the wrist. So we're going to go ahead and repeat that with another 2 units, our little rubber units that we started with. And if they fall out of place, just pull it right back through. Okay, once I got it through there, I fold the white and I pick through both of the loops of that folded white and kind of slide it on and down and repeat. I fold the white and dig through both of those loops of the folded white to pull it down. And do you remember what I said? We're actually twisting away from us. So if I twist away and I create that figure 8, I'm going to slide that top figure 8 loop onto the jump ring. So I've completed one side. I pick up my pliers and switch sides. Do the same thing, twist away, away, and that loop I created, I slide it onto the jump ring, and then very quickly smush it down and close the jump ring and double the jump ring. All right, doesn't matter what it looks like right here. We're going to go ahead and double the jump ring, just kind of going through every single loop that you created and went through with the first jump ring. If the rubber seems kind of funny, just kind of twist it until you can see where you're going, what path you're trying to get through. Twist it around, squish it down, whoop, and then find the room to close it. Steady hands here. If you notice my hands and the pliers are very straight. I don't want to curve this way or this way. I want to be very straight to get a good closure there. Okay, that's a strong ring. And then once I'm done, I can go ahead and slide the rubber around so that it looks like the first unit. Do you see the owl eyes? The owl eyes kind of sticking down at an angle, and then if I turn it over, that kind of straight brow where it's straight across at the top of the green. So we're going to need a bunch of these units, and when you line them up together, that looks like a straight brow and an owl eye, right? So I'm going to want to turn this way, and when I'm ready to connect them, just keep that in mind. I gotta make sure my units are all lined up the same direction. So I'm gonna keep going. Okay, so we've created a bunch of units here, and again, depending on your length, you may need 8, 9, 10. We have about 7 units here, and what we're going to do is start to connect all the units together. And I've got these all facing me with the owl eyes, and if you turned one over, it should be fairly obvious that the green now is the straight brow in this particular one. And the reason we don't want to connect some straight brows to some owl eyes is because when we turn it back over and then we turn it this way just slightly, what we're doing is connecting these 2 green rings through where they cross. So where they cross here and where they cross here, we're going to make one connection with a new anodized aluminum ring. However, if it was turned around, although it doesn't seem that much different in the cross, when you put it this way, it will actually look all jumbled as they all connect together. It just won't have the same kind of symmetry that we might want. So that way, the 2 crosses are actually in the direction that I like them to be. Everything looks straight on the other side. And then we'll make that one connection, and then the second connection we're going to need to make to bring these units together, this one's harder to stand up, is where the 2 white rubber rings are, where they fold, and just above the green, we're actually going to be adding another jump ring, basically in the same loops of the white, but sitting on top of those green. So we're going to make 2 new connections, one with green and one with white. So let's do that. We have the bright colored jump ring here, and we're going to sneak through where the loop crosses with the jump ring. So all I did was where the loop crosses, I've actually gone underneath that part where it crosses. I've stayed on top of the white. I haven't gone through it. Stayed on top, went through the cross. I bring up my second unit next to it, and I double check that I have the owl eyes and the straight brows all lined up. And again, I'm just going through the cross. Where it crosses, I should say not through, but slightly underneath the cross, but staying above the white. So I have not gone through the white. And then I can close the ring once I've gone through 2 crosses. Get a good grip on that one. That's also a thick jump ring. Okay, and then just kind of curve it around so that you can see where they've connected. The 2 green there, where they cross here, if you stare at it, where they cross, and then on the other side, it just looks like it's sitting under that. And now we're going to do the white. So it's kind of already slightly holding the spot for us now where we're going to connect the white. Take a new jump ring, and we're going to dig it through only the loops of the white. Only the loops of the white, staying on top of the green. We don't want to go through the green or to the side of the green. We want to go on top of the green to cover up that green. Come around, bring this towards the jump ring, and just continue to go through the white only. Dig it through. There you are, and now we can close it. And it pretty much matches up with the ring that's above it. So what we have is a pretty parallel connection there through the white and through the green. Look at it from all sides. And we're going to keep going. So I'm going to bring this unit up to it so I can make sure it's the same direction. It is. Go through the green. Bring this up to the jump ring. Dig through the green. Then go ahead and close that. And I do double check my owl eyes each time because it does look similar, especially once you've added more jump rings in. It's harder to see the pattern, but it does look similar, so I'm double checking that I still have everything lined up the way I like it. A new jump ring, turn it so you can see the white, dig through the white, come around, continue to push it through the white only, close that jump ring. There we go. We've got 2 done. And we keep going. It seems pretty stiff, but it's actually very flexible. Once you put it on as a bracelet, it just seems stiff right at this moment. And we keep going. And this is considered a unit weave. So unit weaves are sometimes hybrids of other weaves that you put together in smaller units, and then you join all of the units together. And there's many families of weaves. So this is a unit weave, and what I like about these is you can kind of create them in chunks, and then you can make them into a lot of different things. This project started as a bracelet and then was also developed into a pendant, which is in the book. And the pendant is far more complicated than this one. And so we're going to keep going. So now we've finished connecting all of the units, and we just want to bring the bracelet together to connect the final 2 units so that we have our bangle bracelet. And all I'm doing is folding or bringing the ends together. And it is the exact same connection. Same connection. You're going to go ahead and go through the green, underneath where it crosses, bring it around, go underneath the green, where it crosses, close that jump ring, add your last one momentarily. I flipped it so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm going through the white and twisting it around and pushing through the white again, staying on top of the green. I kind of push the green underneath so that I can stay on top. Okay, I'm ready to close, and then I am done with this. Get that closed well. Okay, and what you have is the lock and twist bracelet, and you can just play with it a little to straighten out your units, but you do have enough room to go ahead and stretch it. And it doesn't matter if it rolls. I mean, once it's on, you're not really going to notice the owl eyes and the straight brow anyway. You can just kind of wear it whichever way you want. I have the green down, or I could flip it and wear the white downward towards my arm. But that is the lock and twist bracelet. And you've made it. You're done. I hope you have fun making the lock and twist bracelet. The rubber rings are available in many colors, so you can really customize it and do your own thing with this one. You can wear it, sell it, or gift it, and be sure to check out more of my videos at firemountaingems.com.